So today I've got a watch for you guys that covers pretty well all the bases we look for in a dive watch. The watch is the Santiago by Nereus Watches, and a couple of cool things about this watch. One is Nereus is owned by the same folks that run the company Cincy Straps Co. I've yet to try their straps, but I've heard really good things about them. The second thing has more to do with how the watch came to me, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So let's switch things up and take a look at the Santiago. So the coolest thing with this watch to me is, again, how this got to be in my hands and in front of the camera here. This was ordered by a friend I've met through the channel, Jeffrey Wood. He's quite active in the watch community, and you'll see him in the comment section on my channel and lots of others quite frequently. He had Nereus send it to me first, and I'm amazed by generosity like that every time. So massive thanks to Jeffrey for that. Definitely a privilege to check this one out. So let's talk about the watch. This actually came out by way of a Kickstarter campaign that was successful. These are now available on the Nereus site. It's drawing inspiration from some quite famous dive watches, but Nereus embraces that with one of their catchphrases, tool watches inspired by history. At the same time, it's different enough to have its own identity. There's a few configurations you can get. There's a black and blue version, both with the option of date or no date. Both also have the option of a dive bezel insert or the second time zone, the 12-hour insert like we have here. The watches come out in this canvas watch roll and include a spare canvas quick release from Cincy Straps Co. Jeffrey actually ordered a second strap. This is not included with the watch from Cincy. And I was just saying the other day, I need more elastic straps in my life. I definitely have to order a couple of these, especially this particular colorway. I really like this one. The dial is a matte blue with contrasting white markers, so highly legible, and not much in the way of distractions on the dial, with only Nereus and the Trident logo printed in white up top, and two lines of text above the 6. The water resistance, which is 200 meters, and Santiago. Fairly simple, straightforward handset, but they get the job done well. They look good, and they're sized right for the watch, with the minute and second hands reaching right out to that minute track. I know it doesn't seem like much, but the length of those hands, if they're a little too short, can really throw off the look of a watch and make them a little harder to read too. The loom is really good, but before I show you a loom shot, check out how high they've piled the loom up on those hour markers. It's nice and puffy. That's always good to see. They're using BGW9, and it's a solid application. BGW9 isn't the brightest loom, but it's one of my favorites, and they've laid it on quite thick. So zero issues with the loom on this watch. No problems with low light time telling. The bezel is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. This is the kind of action you want to feel on a bezel. It feels and sounds good. The insert is aluminum, so I know some people are going to want to see ceramic on their dive watches. I don't mind aluminum. It kind of depends on the watch, but I think it does look good in this case. You can track your second time zone with this one, but you can easily use this as a hybrid bezel and time things too. The bracelet is well built. There's a bit of flex to it, a bit of play between the links, but still a well put together oyster style bracelet. The links are screwed links, and the bracelet as a whole is well finished. It is completely brushed. The clasp is using milled steel. No dive extension, but there's a bunch of micro adjusts. I think we have a total of 6 micro adjusts there to get that good fit. I'll hit you with some of the numbers here, and let's start with the dimensions. The case on the Santiago comes in at a width of 40 millimeters. The bezel does protrude slightly, so it looks a little wider with the bezel measuring at 41. Lug to lug is 48.5 millimeters. The first link here, the end link, does jut just out beyond those lugs, though, to give us a measurement of 51.6 millimeters with the bracelet on. The lug opening is 20 millimeters, and while we're talking lugs, the lugs are drilled for easy strap changes. The thickness on the watch is 13.1 millimeters, and the crystal is a domed sapphire with an anti-reflective coating. The watch runs on the hacking and hand winding Miyota 9015 automatic movement. It's beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour with a 42-hour power reserve. The signed screw down crown is easy to grip and use. Now, you do get that ghost date with this movement, and I know that can be a pet peeve for some, so it does have that. I guess if it bothered you, you could just get the date version, but otherwise the movement feels good when it comes to winding and setting the time. And the crown finds those threads easily when screwing it back in. So overall, I think this is a great no-nonsense diver. It's a solidly built watch and looks very nice. I didn't want to size it with it not being mine, but you can just tell it's going to wear awesome, at least on my 7.25-inch wrist. So thanks again to Jeffrey for this. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me, and it was a lot of fun. So thanks to you guys for taking a few minutes today. Any questions or comments, reach out anytime, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.